freaking first cut. Golly.
Welcome to the First Cut Podcast. I'm Rick Gehman, and this is your almost round one recap. We'll call it Thursday recap for the Players Championship. Joining me to break it all down, Kyle Porter is here. KP, how's it going?
It's good. They just blew the horn. I watched a ton of golf today. There wasn't as much golf on as we wanted there to be, but I watched everything that was on, and it was fun. It was. I think we're going to see a bunch of different like variations of this course over the next 4 days. Yeah. And as was pointed out on the broadcast multiple times, this was probably the easiest iteration that we'll see. Maybe again tomorrow. I don't know, but it was weird to see. It was almost like shots that you would see at like the John Deere, the 3M, where it's just so soft and guys are just got it on a string. That was weird to see at TPC Sawgrass, but that's what happens when it rains like that. And we'll see how it changes over the weekend though.
Yeah, rain was certainly the story of this Thursday and maybe the story of next week. I'm already talking about next week. Little bracket challenge. So here's what we got going on. If you want to join the madness, can I say March Madness, or is that like Super Bowl, which I'm not allowed to say?
I think you have to say.
You're good to say it. You can say March Madness. You can say Super Bowl too, but you probably shouldn't. But
I don't think I'm big enough for somebody to come beating down the door for me. So I think we're all good. We're all good there. So March Madness next week, we've got a bracket challenge. I'll be there. KP will be there. Coach Sia, Greg, even Mark will be there giving out his wrong picks. And we want you there as well. That was pretty good, wasn't it? That sounded just like
good.
Drop.
That was great.
Wrong. Thank you. Join us at cbssports.com/firstcutbracket, and the winner will get $100 of Kyle Porter's money. No, $100 gift card to Paramount Plus. You can watch CONCACAF and Champions League. Paramount Plus has got absolutely everything, and the debut of Halo will start streaming March 24th. Also, the Masters. I've heard of that. So you can go to ParamountPlus.com/Halo. Try it free, but join us in the pool. You can also, how about this, KP? Where do you think the 2023 Final Four is? Because you can also fill out a bracket, compete against your friends, and have a chance to win a trip to the 2023 Final Four. Let me look that up.
2023, I'll say they always go to these like big football stadiums. I'll say Arizona.
Houston.
Oh, okay.
It actually has a great logo. They're very much taking the space theme into it. Very, very strong there. Anyway, cbssports.com/firstcutbracket. You can beat us up there and get your chance to win all the fun stuff.
Which technically, if you're getting a $100 gift card to Paramount Plus, that probably is actually my money because it's coming out of what I could have been paid instead of.
Yeah, there's only one budget. It's all got to go somewhere.
Yeah, so you get to win my money, which. The one and done people are probably really excited about.
All right. So here's the update at TPC Sawgrass. As Kyle mentioned when we came on, they blew the horn. We've got a couple of groups out there still finishing in the last shreds of daylight, but KP, with a 4-hour and 14-minute rain delay, there are still a dozen golfers who have not teed off yet in their opening rounds. So there's going to be a lot of golf played on Friday, but there might be very little golf played by the guys who are already done their rounds one. Chance we don't see them again until Saturday.
Yeah, the whole thing is weird. It just makes for a disjointed. It was like the 2016 PGA. This happened. Remember when they played, I think like 36 on Sunday, and it's so disjointed. You never really know who's. This is actually where strokes gained comes in handy because you never really know who's leading, right? There's a couple guys. Let's see. Thomas Peters is on the 6th hole, but he's, in terms of strokes gained, he's like way up there, So that I don't know. It makes for a very strange first couple of days. It's still. I don't love it because there's such a rhythm to like round one, round two, round three, and then you get to like the kind of the apex on Sunday. And when you have a situation like this, there is no rhythm. It's just get as many holes in as possible. And I mean, if you have another rain delay like you did on Thursday, that's probably a Monday finish, right?
Just in terms of math and daylight, right? Like you can't find more sun out there on any of these days. You can cut the field over the weekends, but if there's another 4-hour delay at any point, this will leak into Valspar week.
We do get daylight savings on Sunday, but that doesn't change it just changes the time, not the amount of daylight.
Yeah, we'll get like 3 more minutes of daylight.
You get an extra hour. It's like, no, you don't. You just change the time of when everybody tees off.
Yeah, we just adjust the hours of daylight. So, okay, as of this moment, there are 2 golfers at 6 under par. Tommy Fleetwood, Tom Hoge. They're in. They're going to sit around and probably wait until Saturday to continue this event. Tommy Fleetwood still looking for that PGA Tour win, number 1. Would be a pretty good one to win here, KP.
Yeah, it would. And he's contended here before. Remember 2019, I think he and Rory were in the final pairing, or maybe he and John Rahm were in the final pairing. And he's played great here before. He just, a couple things on him. He just hasn't had it the last couple of years. He's been fine, but he hasn't been like, oh, Fleetwood is contending at US Opens, at Players Championships, at Open Championships. He hasn't been that guy. And even the way he did it on Thursday is a little disconcerting, right? Right now he's 116th in strokes gained approach. And he kind of said this after his round. He's talking to Mike Tirico, and he's like, I just chipped and putted it really well. And he drove it well too, but the approach game, I guess you get away with that on a day like today where it's super soft and you can get up and down. He hold out a couple of times. I just worry about that on Saturday and Sunday when if it's super windy. Now, the flip side of that is like I've seen Tommy Fleetwood flight the ball into just insane winds, and I know what that looks like also. So it's not a discounted like if, I don't know, Sam Ryder was leading. I don't have a ton of faith because of the statistical profile, but I do have more than I would because it's Tommy Fleetwood, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. He can maybe summon some of that magic, or, oh my gosh, they opened up or they closed the irises. This is the part of the day.
It's crazy.
Where they always say it's much darker out than it actually appears. That is always true. And they are playing in very close to dark conditions right now.
Yes.
Like, what is it worth? Is it worth wasting a shot coming in to not have to wake up and play a half a hole at 6:15 a.m. and then wait around? Like, this is worth the sleep, right?
Yeah, I think it is. Just not even for the annoyance of it, but I think legitimately like for the endurance of the week. I think you probably bet. Oh my gosh, it is so dark.
It's very dark out.
That is insane. We're watching it live as we tape this. Johnny Vegas is running again, like that clip of him and
Abe Answer
and Adam Scott. Ian Poulter sprinting to the 18th. Sprinting is probably pretty.
That might be a sprint for him. That might be a sprint for him. He's 40 something.
Could be. But by the way, while we're talking about this, he was sprinting off the 17th green. The 17th green today, the rough that was grown up around the edge, get it out of here. What is that?
There would have been a lot more balls in the water if that was true.
Yeah. Why is it? I mean, and maybe I don't remember last year or 2 years ago or whatever, but it just seems like it seems soft.
Soft from a course setup perspective, not from a literal the green was soft perspective.
Well, the green was soft, but yeah,
right.
from a course setup perspective, it just seems like if it's going to be the island green and this whole deal, like make it for real,
So Harold Varner III was in the lead at, I believe, 7 under par, right? When he got to 17, and he was the first guy to hit it in the water all day long.
He almost did it again.
The other thing is, and they might have mentioned this on the telecast, going to a absolutely pristine drop zone in which you are the only golfer who has hit from there. that is more terrifying than dunking one in, standing on the regular tee box.
If you gave me 10 balls from the drop zone and 10 from the tee, I would hit way more in the water from the drop zone. 100%. I can't hit that shot.
No, it's impossible.
Full,
this is so dark outside.
It really is. The full sand wedge, pitching wedge, whatever, into 17, I can hit that shot. It wouldn't be great, but the drop shot, no chance. I might put all 10 in the water.
Tom Hoagie also with a 66, just one blemish on the card. He made bogey on 17. It was a 3-putt that forced that, but this has been a heck of a run of golf from Tom Hoagie, right? We've seen him contend. We saw him win an event. This has been the I don't want to say, what is this? The winter of Tom Hoagie?
Yeah, it has been. I gave Adam Scott as my sleeper, which that looks great right now. I think he's in like last he was +6, one out of last place. Matt Jones was +7. Great sleeper there. Tom Hoagie was on the list that I wanted to give. He's played really well at this course. I think he's got, you can check me here, but I think he's got a couple. I can't even see Ian Poulter right now on the TV.
This is amazing. They should always just show it to us like this. Instead of ramping up the irises and all that stuff.
This is unbelievable. Hoagie was up there for me in terms of sleepers. I don't know what he was at, like 100-1 probably, or 80, or
probably deeper than that. I mean, some of these guys were, some of these guys we know and love were 80-1.
Yeah. So, he plays great at this course. Played really well on Thursday. What were his numbers? Yeah. Number 1 tee to green. That's pretty good. So I think if you win Pebble and you've got a good history here, it's not shocking to, is Tom Hoagie going to win? That would be surprising, but to see him up around the lead, maybe finish top 10, top 15, I don't think that would be surprising at all.
The number 1 player in the world, Jon Rahm, who could not be the number 1 player in the world after this week. I think Morikawa could snipe him. I think Victor could snipe him. So we'll see. But Jon Rahm at this moment, T11, 3 under 69. The big thing, KP, back to the old putter. Back to the old, what is that? Rossi model Odyssey, and gained 2.2 strokes in his first 7 holes. He gained 2.5 in total for the day. Easy game.
Yeah, it was weird because he had a couple of long putts that the speed was really bad on. I don't know if you saw. I think it was maybe the first hole, his 10th hole.
Early in the round, I noticed that.
It was just like, wow, the speed was awful. But he made a bunch. He made those 8-footers that he's been missing. He made, I know, at least 2 of his first 2 8-footers on his first 9 holes. He made like a 35-footer. So stuff like that helps out. He looked, what's the right, like uncomfortable all day. He just didn't look like locked in, like I'm going to go shoot a 65 type Jon Rahm. He got a 69 out of it, but I have to say there was no point on Thursday where I was like, I feel great about my one and done right now. Like I never had that thought. And you probably didn't either because Patrick Cantlay was with him and did not play very well.
I was going to say, I'd like to trade with you right about now, but yeah, it was not great stuff by Cantlay. Now, do you think that helps the guys? So those 2 in particular, and Victor Hovland, I think, rounded out that group as well. They have a whole day in all likelihood to find something, whether it is to stay in their routine. Like, how would you spend the day off? And I feel like it does benefit some of these guys that got the entirety of their round in and maybe have some stuff to work on.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like that makes it, it could help. Sometimes I feel like it makes it harder, where like when you get in tournament mode, you just want to turn your mind off and just go, right? Especially if you're playing well. I think it might benefit some guys that are not playing well, where you get to, which I don't know, is Rahm playing well or is he playing poorly?
I would say he putted well. I would say that he probably thinks he could hit it a lot better, which makes me think that a range session on Friday and then getting back into tournament mode on Saturday, I feel like that's helpful.
He was 104th in approach shots.
Yeah, which is insane because he's been dominant.
Yeah, that's not good. Him, you need to put him and Zalatoris like make them one golfer. They'd be unbelievable.
Oh my God. Could you imagine?
Zalatoris' stroke from like inside 5 feet is it's unbelievable.
What is that? It's got to be mental, right? It's not physical, right?
Because like from 20 feet, it's fine, right? Even from like 8 feet, it looks fine. And then he gets inside 5 and it's like, what is that? Chris Solomon, no line up, said it looks like he's signing his autograph when he takes the putter back.
Zalatoris was awesome. He actually made double on the last to drop down to 3 under, but he was like in the thick of it. I picked him to win. I still very much like his chances, but I will tell you, KP, if it came down to a putt to get into the playoff on 18 from 4 feet 2 inches, oh boy, I'd be sweating bullets.
Yeah, do not feel great about that. He did play well. I thought. Yeah, like I said, I watched a ton of golf. I thought Hovland didn't get very much out of his round. I think he finished at 1 under or 2. I think he bogeyed the last to finish at 1 under. I thought Rahm actually did get a lot out of his round, just considering he didn't, like I said, he didn't look super comfortable ever. And again, like if you're him, I don't know if you feel good about kind of getting away with playing at an easy time and putting up a score that maybe you shouldn't have given the way you hit it, or you just continue to feel uncomfortable. I'm really interested by his second round because I think it'll be telling for whether or not he's going to actually contend in this tournament.
The other thing that got everybody up in a fury this morning was Hideki Matsuyama withdrew from the Players' Championship very early this morning, but after the event had started. And while there are 2 parts of this, the side that is golf related and says, hope Hideki's feeling good. He cited the back injury. This really infuriates the fantasy community because he did it after it started, and there was now if you have him in your lineup, you're just stuck with him.
Is there like some fantasy reform that can happen to change that?
So that's always the question. And everyone always says, oh, just replace him with the alternate, the guy who came in, but there are very strict regulations about how they deal in fantasy world with individual players as opposed to teams. So there is no option to lock a golfer or be able to replace a golfer until their tee time. That is not an option. You can't offer Patrick Rogers, who ends up being the replacement for Hideki Matsuyama, because the rest of the field didn't have the option to play Patrick Rogers. You can't, there's just whatever solution people have come up with, it is basically illegal to pull that off. So we are just kind of in a situation where it bites you eventually. And if you play enough, it all evens itself out.
Yeah, that's fair. Why can't you leave it unlocked until that person's tee time?
So there's a specific regulation about this, how it's different for teams and individuals. It's the same thing for like UFC and MMA is once the event starts, everything is locked. So they don't let you choose. Okay. So it's like based on the event time, not the athlete time, which I guess,
that makes sense, because like if you see the first group go off and it's like a lot wetter than you thought it was going to be or whatever. Yeah. That makes sense.
So I see all the tweets. I hear all the complaints. I imagine all these sites would love to change something to not have, 11% of their fan base very upset today, but we're in this situation for a reason.
Yeah, that was a bummer to see him. He was the guy behind Siwoo. He's got the second best strokes gained number here of the last 20 years. And I got a text from a friend last night who was like, do you think Hideki's caddy will bow after he pulls a flat, or after he puts the pin back in on 18 at the Players like he did at the Masters, because he's going to win by like 10. And like, I saw this text this morning. I got on Twitter. The first tweet I saw was Hideki Matsuyama has withdrawn from the Players Championship. And so I sent it to my buddy and I was like, well, I don't think there's going to be any bowing this weekend.
No bowing this week. Oh,
yeah. I hope he's back for the Masters though. That would be a bummer if he wasn't able to play Augusta.
Well, I think that was the quote that Japanese media got. It's he's feeling better. He's not 100%, but the goal is to be ready for the Masters. And you hear guys say that sometimes, KP, but and without knowing how bad the injury is, to actually take action on dropping out of the largest purse in the world to make sure that you are ready for the Masters. I'm pretty impressed without knowing the extent of the injury, because there's probably 36 guys playing through injury right now because there's $20 million in this purse.
Totally. Yeah, I totally agree. Anybody else at the top of the board you were surprised by?
It's so early, and it was such a weird day. There's no surprises at all. I mean, Neiman's playing well. That's cool to see. Keith Mitchell up there as well. Sam Burns, a 68. I love to see that.
Brian Harmon always plays well here.
Well, since they moved this back to March, he's the only guy in this field who's got back-to-back top 10s.
Yeah.
And he's trying to do it again 3 in a row. So I wouldn't say there are surprises, because this isn't even the first round leader. This isn't even 18 holes. It's 18 holes, but only half the field is played. So this is as random and as volatile as it gets, because we had 2 rain delays today. We had one before it started and then a 4-hour one in the middle. So no surprises. No.
Yeah, I did see Rory hit one 312 down the middle on the first hole and make a 5. So that was great.
That wasn't fun. We got to go through this odds board, which
it's a mess. I bet
that bet is a winning bet. That's correct. It is a mess. We'll talk about that. But first, we're going to take a quick break and hear a word from our partners. And we're back. Caesars Sportsbook. They've got their hands full here. So just to be clear, Jon Rahm has finished his first round. He is 3 under 69. He's 12-1, Kyle. Colin Morikawa, who has played 2 holes and is 1 under and is currently, well, I'll tell you what, maybe I might give him this birdie on number 3 because he's sitting there 5 feet away. He is technically the favorite. He is 10-1. So he's played 2 holes and 1 shot compared to 69 full strokes from Jon Rahm.
I think that makes sense. Morikawa is going to be, you said 2 under through 3.
As long as he makes a 5-footer, yes.
It's a weird board, right? Because you look at Rahm and you're like, he played fine, I guess. And then Koepka, I haven't even really seen him. I think he's 2 under also. I think Morikawa, I mean, it makes sense why he's the favorite. Fleetwood, what do you do with Fleetwood? I wish he was like 20.
Yeah, but the thing with Fleetwood is you can just wait. Like, his number does not get better between now and probably Saturday, the next time he hits a shot. His number only gets longer. So when Morikawa shoots 3, 4 under, 5, whatever he's going to end up shooting, Morikawa's going to get shorter and Fleetwood gets longer. If you want to bet any of the guys that played and are done in the opening round, you should probably wait until Saturday.
JT was what, 14 at the beginning of the week?
Yeah, him and Rahm were generally around that number.
And he plays the first 2 holes in even, and now he's 18. I don't get that.
Yeah, this has got to be such a fool's errand to try to put these odds out. I'm trying to see if there's. Would you rather back the guy who's going to play like 36 tomorrow in hopefully favorable conditions? Like, if you get on a run, you could make a dent in this leaderboard, couldn't you?
Yeah,
for 2 rounds in one day.
I think JT at 18 is better than like. I think JT at 18 is awesome because you essentially didn't get, like, he didn't waste anything. He's even through 2, and now you get him with 70 holes left, and his odds have they're longer than they were 2 holes ago.
Yeah.
I mean, is that just like, if he birdies 2, is he like 14-1 again? I mean, it just seems like a lot of volatility for not very many holes played. The other thing is, I don't know, and I wrote about this a little bit, but I don't know why there wasn't more noise around Scheffler this week. I think it was the thing that you always talk about where you get punished for winning. Like, I think if Scheffler loses the playoff in Phoenix, let's say Hovland holds on last week at Bay Hill, I think everybody's like, Scotty Scheffler could win the Players. And right now, nobody's talking about it. Yeah,
we would have said he's knocking at the door. Right. That would have been the narrative around Scotty Scheffler this week. He's currently in the fairway bunker, it appears, on the 4th hole. He is 1 under, and he is 20-1 to add a 3rd victory to his resume in his last 4 starts.
It'd be, I mean, and I think depending on where Rahm finishes, he could go to number 1 in the world. We could go from Scotty Scheffler's never won a PGA Tour event to Scotty Scheffler's number 1 in the world in the span of like 6 weeks, 5 weeks. That would be insane.
If that happens, is the OWGR broken? If that can happen,
no, because maybe, but he's played so well. He's played at such a high level. I think it actually speaks to what works about the OWGR, which is that if you play at a high level like that for so long, like you don't have to win to be a top 10, 15, 20 player in the world.
Yeah, he was living inside the top 20 without a win, right? So
yeah.
that makes sense.
It's the Abe answer.
Yeah. Both those guys got. So I wonder now who the highest ranked golfer is without a PGA Tour win.
Without a PGA Tour win, probably Fitzpatrick.
Fitzpatrick's 25th. Let's see. Sanjay's got one. Finau, yeah.
Oosthuizen's only got one. Hatton has one.
I think you're right.
It's Fitzy.
Fitzpatrick, and then I guess Thomas Peters, 31st.
Zalatoris.
Oh, Zalatoris, 30th, yeah. Well, he's gonna end that this week, so it'll be Peters.
Man, he just I don't know. I don't know what to do with him because the tee to green play looks so good and the putting looks so bad. And you're just like, what do I do?
The problem is I was fine with the putting when he was 5 under. If you're going to putt like that from 5 feet and in, you got to be perfect everywhere else. And you can't spend 2 on 18. I know 18's playing hard, but like you got to be perfect everywhere else if you're going to putt like that.
What did he do on 18? I didn't see.
He sprayed it right. Then he punched out. Then his third was in that awkward spot over the knob. And then he putted back, ran past for 4 and then missed like the 6-footer for 5 or whatever.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's
7.
Like
That drive was tough. And he hadn't had a bogey since the first hole. He hit it really well. I don't know. It's a weird board right now. I feel like we're like having a hard time talking about this because you're like, well, Sam Burns and Taylor Pendrith and Abraham Answer are all in the top 10, but like not really because I don't know. It's just it's weird and hard to talk about. But it was still. Listen, I mean, this tournament is always fun. Thursday was still a really fun day, despite the rain delay. And I think that hopefully we get just 13 hours of golf on Friday, and we're able to get everything in by Sunday night.
Yeah, so if we game this out a little bit, if everything works out beautifully, the afternoon group finishes in the morning and plays the first part of round 2 on Friday. And then basically what you get is the conclusion of round 2 on Saturday morning. And then hopefully, I don't know if you can get half the field out there for the entirety of their third round, or you get caught up a little bit on Sunday morning. And then Sunday finishes as usual. That is ideal scenario, right?
But it's going to be weird because, I mean, think about, you could have a scenario where guys, they don't repair on Sunday. And so you could have a winner that finishes at like 2 or 3. I mean, JT shot 64, 68 on the weekend last year.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he barely made the cut, but he wasn't that far inside the cut line. And if you don't repair, it's like, well, here's our champion, Will Zalatoris. We've still got 2.5 hours of coverage
in a 3-ball going off the 10T this morning.
Exactly. He finishes on 9. That would be sick.
All right, KP. Well, we'll keep an eye on the golf tomorrow. We'll see what happens in the first cut. We'll be here after, I guess, the sun goes down is when we're going to be going on Friday, and of course Saturday and Sunday as well. But for now, let me thank producer Jacob. Does all the hard work behind the scenes. That right there, Kyle Porter. You can find him on Twitter at Kyle Porter CBS, and you can find me at Rick Run Good. This has been the first cut, and we'll catch you next time.